there in the NCERT, you have to listen to his lecture and revise through these notes too. Okay, एक बार सुन लोगे, then it's an interesting idea as well. And if this field, if this chapter does seem interesting, you could even consider pursuing this further. Okay, so elements of a communication system, what goes into making this up? First, the first thing that we need is a transducer. So the transducer is a device which converts energy from one form into another. So in communication systems, devices have either inputs or outputs in electrical form. For example, if you're speaking into a microphone, the input is an audio signal, but the output that the microphone is sending is an electrical signal. Then if you're talking to the speaker is receiving an electrical signal as the input, but the output it's giving is an audio signal. So transducers are, these are examples of transducers. Even a camera, as it records whatever video it's recording, right? The input is, what do you call it? A visual kind of signal. It's capturing motion, it's capturing sound, it's capturing color, but it's converting it to process it further and transmit it. It's converting it into an electrical form. So an electrical transducer is needed to convert these physical variables like sound or pressure or displacement into an electrical signal, and then vice versa. So later at the output end, imagine a captures a match, it's converted it into an electrical signal. Your TV is receiving that electrical signal, then that needs to again get converted into a meaningful format for you. So it again gets converted to sound and visuals. So transducers are devices which make those conversions. Okay, then signal. Signal is that converted information, that information in an electrical form that is suitable to be transmitted. Transmission matlab sending, that is a signal. Okay, then there are two types of signals. One is an analog signal and the other is a digital signal. So the basic difference is analog signals have a continuous waveform. They can take all values, they're like real numbers. Okay? They can take all values and they have a continuous waveform. Whereas okay, their output doesn't have to take specific discrete values. They can take all values. For example, TV ke signals, radio ke signals, you're capturing people's voice, you're capturing sound. These all have complex waveforms. You cannot represent a person's voice only in zeros and ones or only in integers, right? These are complex waveforms, and the signal, therefore, the way these are dealt with, the signal that you get when you record somebody's voice or when you capture someone's video, it's always going to be an analog signal. Digital signals, on the other hand, have discontinuous or step-like waveforms as their output takes discrete values. Okay, so examples of digital, first of all, they look like this. You can clearly see the output is taking only integral or digital values, specific values, discrete values. It's used in binary systems. Your entire computer successfully works in zeros and ones. And then you can also imagine digital signals, an SMS, a text message, that could be a digital signal, because you just need to convey कि इस जगह पे ये character है या वो character है या कोई character नहीं है. I mean, it's that kind of information that has to be conveyed. So all of that can easily be alphabets. All of that can easily be converted into zeros and ones. So those signals, text messages, emails, these are all digital. But then complex things like human voice, okay, that's all analog, and it's an amazing field and a field of its own as to how my voice right now is being converted into an electrical signal. That's amazing. So there is a varying voltage, the amplitude of the basically the frequency of the voltage, the waveform of the voltage is going to somehow carry enough information necessary to later reproduce my voice in your device. So that's an amazing field. The next thing is noise. So noise comprises of unwanted signals that disturb transmission and the processing of message signals. Okay, so it may be from outside or inside the system. So you guys understand noise. Okay, both at the transmission, and then as the signal is traveling through the air, and then maybe even at the receiver's end, you always end up picking up certain things. Maybe there's some loose circuit, maybe there's some interference. Okay, so noise is inevitable. You could minimize it, but it's almost impossible to completely eliminate it. Transmitter is the one which processes the incoming message signals. Okay, so it, like the transmitter of my phone is processing my voice and making it an electrical signal. So it's making it suitable for transmission. पहले इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल बनाता है, फिर उसके बाद उसको एक रेडियो सिग्नल में कन्वर्ट करता है. रेडियो इज व्हाट? रेडियो वेव. लाइट का स्पेक्ट्रम में द लास्ट है रेडियो वेव्स. तो इट देन फाइनली एमिट्स अ रेडियो वेव. वो रेडियो वेव का वेव फॉर्म इज समहाउ कैरिंग इनफ इंफॉर्मेशन to reproduce my voice when your phone receives the radio wave. That's amazing, right? So it converts it into a radio wave suitable for transmission. Again, light, basically, that light is carrying my voice in a way, and subsequent reception. So it's just preparing it for the transmission, and then it transmits it. So transmitter prepares it for transmission and then transmits it. The receiver, as it receives that signal, it then extracts the desired message signal from the signals received by it at the channel output. So you guys are receiving radio signals from whatever tower or yeah, you basically are receiving radio signals right now. But those radio signals are somehow carrying my voice, and your receiver in your phone decodes that signal and reproduces my voice with all the intensity and pitch variation, everything. So it's really amazing technology. Now, channel, I mentioned channel output. Channel is basically the physical medium that connects the transmitter to the receiver. Okay, so you have wires, free space is air, and optical fibers. These are three typical channels which we'll see in a little bit more detail. The two basic modes of communication, one is P2P, point to point, which is basically one transmitter sending information to one receiver. An example of this would be a phone call or an email. There's one person sending and one person receiving. Broadcast is on the other hand, it's one transmitter sending to multiple receivers. For example, TV or a radio or the Zoom meeting, the way it's happening now, that's again a broadcast. Me sending to multiple devices which have been tuned in. So that's that. Then you have this new, maybe a new word for some, attenuation. Attenuation just means weakening. So it literally means the weakening of a signal, the loss of a signal strength while propagating through a medium. We know signals get weak as you go further and further away from the transmitter. So that's attenuation, weakening. Amplification. So amplification is increasing the strength of the signal using an amplifier to compensate for attenuation. Okay, so that process is amplification. It's done between the source and the receiver when the strength of the signal becomes weaker than required. So if your signal becomes too weak, then you may have certain towers in the middle which pick up the weak signal, strengthen it again, and then pass it on. Okay. Range is the largest distance between the source and the destination up to which the signal can be received with sufficient strength. Largest distance between source and destination up to which a signal can be received with sufficient strength. So you guys obviously understand range. You go far away from your Wi-Fi hotspots, and you can notice its effects. The strength of the signal reaching your phone is weak, so basically you're going out of range. Then you have bandwidth. So bandwidth is the frequency range over which an equipment operates, or it's basically the portion of the spectrum of light occupied by a signal. So we're going to see even as we transmit light predominantly through radio waves, we can't just send any random frequency that we like. Okay, it's a properly regulated protocol. The telephones should operate in this frequency range. maybe television signal should operate in this frequency range, and there is a body which decides that, called the International Telecommunications Union, right? So they allocate different bandwidths. The bandwidth matlab frequency range. Okay, and sometimes the same word may also be used for describing the width of that range. Range kitna bada hai. So if my width is from 100 hertz to 120 hertz, they can say bandwidth is 100 to 120. Sometimes they can also say bandwidth is 20. In a way, saying that band is 20 hertz wide. The bandwidth is used in both senses. यहाँ पे spelling mistake है. Modulation. Modulation. Let's upload this. Don't forget. Yeah. Modulation क्या है? The original low frequency signals cannot be transmitted to long distances. We'll see why. We'll study modulation more detail. So therefore, at the transmitter, the signal is superposed on a higher frequency wave, which acts as a carrier of the signal. This process is modulation. So our low frequency wave, for some reasons, as we will see, is not the most suitable for transmission. तो हम क्या करेंगे? इसको एक high frequency wave के ऊपर सुपरपोज कर देंगे, और अलग अलग तरीका है सुपरपोज करने का, वो भी आगे देखेंगे. So based on the way we superpose it, we can send a signal which carries this message. Okay, so our signal is going to be a carrier. Okay, high frequency wave is going to be a carrier of our message. That process of putting our message on a higher frequency signal is known as modulation. Okay, we'll come back to this in more detail. The three types of modulation: amplitude, frequency, and phase modulation, which we will understand later. As a kid, if you have heard of these words AM and FM, this is what they actually stand for. And in this chapter, you're going to understand what amplitude modulation and frequency modulation means. Next is demodulation. So it's the ulta process, the process of retrieving the original message from the carrier after reception. So तुमने सुपरपोज करके भेज दिया, but the receiver, once it receives that message, उसको फिर वो higher frequency wave से तुम्हारा message extract करना है. That process is demodulation. ये तुम्हें ज्यादा समझ में आएगा when we look at modulation, which is towards the end of this chapter. Then there is a repeater. The repeater is a combination of a receiver and a transmitter. It basically picks up the signal from the transmitter, it amplifies it, and it retransmits it to the receiver, sometimes with a modulation or a change in frequency. This is used to extend the range of a communication system. It's like when a fielder wants to send the ball to the wicket keeper and he's not confident enough, तो वो उसके और विकेट कीपर के बीच में एक बंदा को फेंकेगा और फिर वो विकेट कीपर को देगा, वैसा कुछ सीन है. The repeater will pick up the signal from the transmitter and further, it will strengthen it, modulate it if necessary, and then even send it to the receiver. So those are your repeaters. Okay, that concludes the definitions. Now, this is the blockchain diagram for communication systems. Okay, so it gives you an idea of how things, in a way, how things flow. So first you have your information source. Like for instance, right now my information source is me, my voice. That's reaching. So my voice is first being picked up by my phone. My phone is then converting that voice using a transducer. It's converting it into a voltage signal. Okay, so that is my message signal. That message signal is then by the transmitter converted into a radio wave, and that is the transmitted signal. So now this is light. Okay, the transmitter is now emitting light. Those lights are passing through the channel, which is free space right now. It may pass by some towers, which will act like repeaters, and they'll ultimately send that light radio signal to your receivers in your phone. Okay, then your phone will from that extract the message signal. So it'll convert the radio wave into a voltage, and then your speaker will convert that voltage signal into sound again, and you will be the users of that information. So that's your communication system. And what is inevitable is noise. So noise can really come in at any stage. Okay, during this transition, you can have noise come in. Okay, now this is the bandwidth allocated for different transmission media. So we're going to look at channels right now. There's three types of channels. The first one is the wire या coaxial cable. Now there are going to be a bunch of numbers over here, but all I can say is you have to make the effort to have some of these numbers registered in your mind. Maybe not exact, but at least the range, or at least the order of the magnitude of the numbers. Okay, which hertz mein, which megahertz mein. At least some of those things should be in your mind, because this is a simple chapter. Normally, इससे एक क्वेश्चन या तो आएगा या नहीं आएगा, बट chances are कि इससे एक क्वेश्चन आएगा. Okay, so आएगा तो ideally it should be at least one question that you nail in your paper. So scoring in that sense, please be thorough with it. Just a few numbers, at least if you read it multiple times, back of the mind mein wo retain ho bhi jayega. So coaxial cable has a frequency bandwidth of 750 hertz. Here I'm using bandwidth in the sense where I'm saying it's uska max or minimum frequency के बीच में जो भी signal भेजोगे उसका width 750 hertz का है. Okay, normally, typically, and all frequencies are less than 18 gigahertz. Okay, so coaxial cables, wires में you use frequencies of this range. In a coaxial cable, I believe we do not use light. Coaxial cable mein it's the electrical signal itself which is transmitted directly from the transmitter to the receiver. Okay, for example, if I use my mic and a speaker, so mic is converting audio into voltage signal. It's sending it via a wire to the speaker, and then the speaker is converting the voltage signal back to an audio signal. So that's a coaxial cable. There's no light involved over here. Okay, the voltage ka jo frequency hai, that's of the order of 18 gigahertz. Optical fibers then. Optical fibers use light. If you remember the the concept behind the mechanism of the optical fiber, it uses total internal reflection, right? So you send in light through this thin fiber which is denser than the surrounding medium, and there is, so TIR takes place. Ek to light strikes it at large angles, strikes the walls at large angles, and because of TIR the light stays in the cable, and thus there is no loss of information, because TIR uses 100% reflection, keeping 100% of the light inside the fibers. There's no weakening as such. Okay, the signal doesn't get weak. There's no energy loss. There's no energy loss. A wire could get heated up. When you transmit via air, it could dissipate. The energy could get dissipated to the surrounding molecules. But when you use an optical fiber, there's very minimal energy loss. And they can therefore operate at frequency ranges 1 terahertz to 1000 terahertz. High frequency range, 1000 terahertz. If you've not seen that number before, that's called as petahertz. So tetra is 10 to the power 12 and peta is 10 to the power 15. So 1 terahertz and 1 petahertz is the frequency range, and optical fibers are basically the backbone of your internet. So all internet communications are predominantly taking place through optical fibers placed at the bottom of the oceans. All right, so that's the second channel. Sorry, Satha, what is that? Have I written? You're saying it should be terahertz, not tetrahertz. Ye bol raha. Terahertz. My bad. Thanks for the हाँ, thanks for terahertz होता है. Thank you. Tetra pack होता है. Free space. Free space has free space is basically air. Okay, so it has very wide bandwidth. Signals can have bandwidths from, so this is the width of the signal, can have bandwidths from 100 kilohertz to a few gigahertz. Okay, so you have wider bandwidths that can be supported by it as compared to a coaxial cable. Of course, coaxial cables have limitations. You can't have a wire from my house to your house. But free space is where range is not really a problem. So has very wide bandwidths. The International Telecommunications Union allocates different bandwidths for different uses. Light used for this purpose is called as radio waves. So light used for the purpose of communications is called as radio waves, right? So I've said that sometimes light ka jo spectrum hai, those frequency ranges are not exact. They sometimes overlap, and the distinguishing factor is ya to the source of the light or what it is used for. Okay, nuclear activity se jo bhi light niklega wo gamma rays hi hoga. It's going to be called as gamma rays. Okay, similarly, X-ray tube se jo niklega usko X-rays hi bolenge. Light used for microwaves usko microwaves bolenge. Similarly, light used for communication is exclusively called as radio waves. A rough range, you'll see different ranges everywhere. But I think I'm referring to the NCRT and rounding off. Certain places I may have rounded off values. Okay, NCRT, if you compare, you may see thoda or exact values. I've just rounded off, making it a little bit easier for memorization. So radio waves, approximately you can say 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz is the range. Giga is 10 to the power 9. AM waves, okay, then the next ones are AM waves. AM waves are from 90 to 110, 500 kilohertz to 1500 kilohertz. Don't get, even when you first read this, don't just look at the numbers and freak out. First, let the magnitude sink in. So notice this, ki AM waves operate at low frequencies. In mega, this is reaching till 1.5 megahertz. Frequency, low frequencies के लिए AM waves used है. फिर FM is 90 to 110 megahertz, so significantly higher. TV उसके बीच में 55 से 88 और फिर उसके बाद 175 से 890. So that's quite a wide bandwidth allocated to TV signals. Mobile फिर है 895 से 935 mobile का. इसमें this range is called as VHF, very high frequency. This range is called as UHF, ultra high frequency. Okay, those are just names. Communicating with the satellite happens in a much higher bandwidth again. So this is from 3.5 to 6.5 gigahertz. These are all regulated by this body, and we are not allowed to we are not allowed to break out of our allocated bandwidths. Okay, ground waves and space waves, we're going to look at that in a bit. But when we're going to study ground waves, you're going to see that is a mechanism of propagation for low frequency waves. When you see the range of that, you can understand. You'll see AM waves support or use ground waves mechanism. All these other ones use space waves mechanism. So sometimes they'll ask those questions like that. If you just read the NCRT, you may have mucked up the values of ground waves and mucked up the values of AM waves. But then you have to also put the pieces of information together and understand, oh, acha, AM ground use karta hai, and acha, mobile space use karta hai, because they lie in the same frequency range. Okay, so wo sab explicitly likha nahi hai, so therefore I would always suggest revising once through these notes as well. So what are these mechanisms that we were talking about? So first one is ground waves. We're talking about how waves, EM waves are propagated, radio waves are propagated through free space, through the air channel. So first mechanism is ground waves. Okay. Ground waves are used for frequencies less than a few megahertz. So this is used for AM broadcast. That's your hint. AM abhi dekha 1.5 megahertz tak hi max frequency रहता है AM waves के लिए. So clearly ground waves is what AM waves, AM broadcast will use. Ground waves is what AM broadcast will use. With that piece of information, we conclude that. To radiate signals with high efficiency, the antenna should have a length of at least lambda by 4. Okay, so this is a piece of information you'll find repeated throughout the chapter. Okay, there's a bigger theory behind this, but for some reason, antenna's length will increase as wavelength increases. So for this frequency range, ये lower frequency है. Lower frequency मतलब lambda बड़ा है. तो antenna का size जो lambda by 4 होना चाहिए वो भी काफी बड़ा है. So this results in very large antenna, and therefore these antenna are placed on the ground. तो AM waves के लिए जो तुम अगर कभी AM wave का tower देखोगे, that tower itself is the antenna. The tower itself is one big antenna placed on the floor. And the radio waves that this produces glides over the ground as it propagates. Okay, hence the name ground waves. So the radio waves it produces glides over the ground as it propagates, hence the name ground waves. These waves also end up setting up currents in the ground, similar to eddy currents. And therefore, these waves lose energy quickly. This process is called as attenuation. And it's found that for ground waves, the greater the frequency, the greater the attenuation. The more eddy currents will be set up and more weakening will take place. Hence, this is used only for low frequencies. Hence, this is exclusively used for low frequencies. So ground waves, low frequencies less than a few megahertz, used exclusively for AM broadcast. Antenna is big, antenna itself is on the ground. Okay, simple. The next one is space waves. So space waves, these operate in the range of 40 megahertz and above. So the minute you read that, then you have to go back to that page and check. Here, 40 megahertz and above means all of this. So that's our conclusion. That's why all of these use the space waves mechanism. Okay, 40 and above. So all these ones, all these FM, TV, mobile communication satellites, all of these are going to use space waves. If they ask you that, you should know they use space waves mechanism. It's used for satellite communication. Space waves is used for satellite communication. Okay, that was in fact the fourth point. Mobile ke baad communicating with the satellite. So it's used for satellite communication, and is also used for line of sight transmission. The line of sight is basically this tower can communicate with any other tower in its line of sight. Okay, as long as the tower is not interrupted by the Earth's curvature or it's there is no hill blocking that tower. So whatever is in its line of sight, this tower can communicate with that. So it's used in line of sight communication. Okay, line of sight को LOS से abbreviate किया. अब इसमें the frequencies are higher. Okay, and hence antenna are smaller. So for this range, the antennas are significantly smaller. So these antennas cannot really be placed on the ground. एक तो high frequency पे, when you place antennas on the ground, eddy currents are set up and those signals weaken quickly. On top of that, antennas are small. Can you imagine you're placing a bush on the ground? You're not going to expect the signal to go far away, right? Wi-Fi routers we don't place on the floor, we place it high up. So that's the kind of the idea. यहाँ पे antennas are small, therefore these antennas are placed on the top of a tower. So the difference over here is now the tower, the entire tower itself is not the antenna. The tower is just a structure required to give elevation to the antenna. The antenna is at the top of the tower. The waves produced by this do not glide over the ground, hence they are not ground waves. Okay, they are space waves. Okay, So that's the basic simple idea. That's the basic difference between space waves and ground waves. Ground waves में एंटीना बड़ा है, जमीन पे है, waves ground के ऊपर क्लाइड होके जाएंगे, लो फ्रीक्वेंसी के लिए है. स्पेस वेव्स में एंटीना छोटा है, हाइट पे है, पूरा टावर एंटीना नहीं है, टावर के ऊपर एंटीना है छोटा सा, एंड हाई फ्रीक्वेंसीज के लिए है, and the waves do not slide over the ground. Okay, they go direct. I mean, they're above the ground, sufficiently above the ground. Hence, they're called as space waves, and they also communicate with space satellites. Okay, so because they communicate with satellites as well, hence the name space waves. I'll come back to that formula, but just to quickly mention sky waves. So sky waves is a totally different mechanism. Sky waves are used for a very narrow frequency range, 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz. And if you go back to that page, you'll not really find any of those mentioned broadcasts, AM, FM, TV, mobile communication. None of them ka frequency range lies in that window. 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz किसी का भी lie करता नहीं है. So if they ask you like TV कौन सा use करता है, the answer is never going to be sky waves. Okay, in fact it's going to be either ground or space waves. तो sky waves वाले window में एक अलग सा mechanism के through message is transmitted, and it serves long distance communication, and the broadcasts that use this mechanism are called as short wave broadcasts. The broadcasts that use this are called as short wave broadcasts. और इसका mechanism actually क्या है, थोड़ा अलग सा अजीब सा है. So the ionosphere is a part of the atmosphere that is ionized. Okay, so it gets ionized because of ultraviolet rays from the sun and other cosmic rays. So that energy of those photons goes in ionizing the molecules, which are higher up. And the ionosphere is that part which is ionized, lies 65 to 400 kilometers above the Earth's surface, significantly higher than Mount Everest, which is 8 kilometers, and it has 4 layers named as D, E, F1, F2. Simple names, just alphabets. Okay. Now NCERT में there's a column which says D कौन सा frequency absorb करता है, कौन सा transmit करता है, ऐसा सब है, and I practically I don't see any practical point in you memorizing that and them asking questions on that. But the basic point I think you guys should get is, okay, you can know it's made of these 4 layers. The basic point you should get is radio waves. The mechanism kya hai? Radio waves are sent at an angle into the sky, and they're found to get reflected back to the Earth from the ionosphere by the mechanism of total internal reflection. Okay, so when you send waves of that particular frequency, maybe if you send waves of other frequencies, they perhaps they just pass through this, or they get absorbed or something like that. But if you send waves of this frequency range, then they will, by the mechanism of total internal reflection, they will get sent back to the Earth. Okay? And as they get sent back to the Earth, there is a way you could communicate from this tower to that tower. Right? So, and it exclusively works for those frequencies. So those frequencies are reserved for this kind of propagation. So that's all you need to know about sky waves. My one advice is just try to not mix the two up. Okay, I've seen students understand sky waves and understand space waves, but they mix up the names. Space and sky sound very similar. Okay, so don't mix them up. This is using the ionosphere. So this is using our atmosphere. This is using the sky. Okay, and the other one is communicating with space satellites. Hence, those are space waves. So just try to not get them mixed up. Coming back to space waves, okay, they can ask, this is one place where some numerical type question can come. So in space waves, they can ask you for the line of sight range. So for instance, they could ask you what could be the max distance we can have between a transmitter and a receiver. The max distance we could have. What is the max range, max separation one transmitter and one receiver could be placed at. Okay, so let's call that distance. Let's call the distance dm, max distance between the line of sight transmitters and receivers. And this is the distance by the diagram. This is the distance dm. Please don't feel that this should be the distance. Remember, the towers are just there to give elevation. It's antenna to antenna. Antennas are small, so they're like as good as points. Antenna to antenna distance here. Okay, so that is dm. Okay, dm, m for max. Let dt be the distance to the horizon. Horizon in this context is also called as radio horizon. Okay, the horizon for the radio waves. Let dt be the distance to the horizon for the transmitter. So horizon is the furthest part of the earth you can see. The transmitter say ye tangent to the earth wala point. Basically transmitter से earth तक जो tangent रहेगा, that distance is called as dt. And vice versa for the receiver, distance to the horizon is called as dr. So you have dt and dr. Again, we could find those things. To find those things, we would need the heights of the transmitter and receiver, to ht and hr. Imagine these could be given to you. Okay, tower ke heights, and you would also be given the radius of the earth, which is going to be r. Okay, so you get a simple diagram like this. Simple derivation here. Should you forget the formula, you should be able to derive it on your own if a question on this comes, or if a variation on this comes. So simple formula, dt, Pythagoras theorem, is r plus ht the whole square minus r square. Okay, you could apply binomial theorem, और you could even मैंने यहाँ पे basically square खोल दिया है, तो इसको r plus ht का square है r square plus 2r ht plus ht square. खोलने पे r square कट जाता है, ht square को मैं बोल सकता हूँ काफी negligible होगा 2r ht के सामने, because r is a lot bigger than ht. So then I'm just left with root 2r ht. So dt is approximately root 2r ht. You'll get the same thing if you apply binomial theorem. And dr is approximately root 2r hr. That makes the max distance dt plus dr, root 2r ht plus root 2r hr. Okay, बस इसको blindly याद करने की जगह always do this derivation. If they ask you variation, variation कैसा हो सकता है? They could say कि तुम्हें tower से कितना distance पे होना पड़ेगा, right? What if your mobile is communicating with a tower? Like what distance could you lie at? Now your mobile is going to be in your hand, and you're going to be at the earth's surface. You're not going to be on the top of a high tower, right? So in that case, you're going to put hr as 0, right? So if the receiver is a phone or a tv, it's not an antenna on the top of a tower, right? It's safe to assume it's not assumed we are on a high rise building. But basically, if you're close to the surface of the earth, a receiver is like a phone or a television. In that case, you can put hr as 0. When you put hr as 0, dm is root 2r ht. Here dm is basically dt. So that's going to be the distance you'll have to, max distance you could be at. तो ये एक जगह है जहाँ पे कुछ न्यूमेरिकल सवाल बन सकता है. All right. We have roughly 20 minutes. Let's see if we can understand modulation. Again, I messed up the spelling. I don't know why it's suggesting that spelling. Okay. So modulation, I've just repeated the definition. The original low frequency signals will not be transmitted to long distances. Therefore, at the transmitter, the signal called the message signal is superposed on a high frequency wave called the carrier, which acts as a carrier of the message signal. This process is known as modulation. This process is known as modulation. Now, let's understand this. First and foremost, why is there a need for this kind of weird superposition? Okay, so ये भी काफी important होता है. These are all important theoretical questions they can ask. Why is there a need for modulation? Okay, exclusively, this is also mentioned in this list. So 3 reasons. Okay, one is the size of the antenna. So we have seen that the antenna ka size should be at least lambda by 4. The bada wavelengths imply bigger amplitudes. For bigger amplitudes, you need your charge particle जो wave produce कर रहा है. We have understood how an EM wave is produced, है ना? By Maxwell's laws. When a charged particle is accelerated to and fro, if it's oscillated, then based on the waves oscillating, it creates an electric field and a magnetic field. Both are changing. So their changing nature further produces an electric field and a magnetic field. And that's how the process continues in harmony, and you have an EM wave which propagates away from the source. So basically, bigger wavelengths and bigger amplitudes imply bigger antennas. So as the size of an antenna must be at least lambda by 4, it is not practical for low frequencies. Okay, the size is too big for low frequencies. For instance, audio frequencies are going to be lower than 20 kilohertz, right? Everything relevant to us about 20 kilohertz is ultrasonic frequencies, right? So we can't hear frequencies that high. In fact, about 2 kilohertz itself, it gets quite irritating. So the frequencies we deal with are not above that range. If we were to build towers which would operate in that frequency range, even 20 kilohertz ka agar tum use karoge, so that corresponds to a wavelength of greater than 15 kilometers. The frequency is lesser than 20 kilohertz, wavelength is greater than 15 kilometers. Thus, tower ka size will have to be greater, antenna ka size will have to be greater than 3.75 kilometers. Almost close to 50% of Mount Everest ka size. So these tower antenna sizes become very large if the wavelength is very large or the frequency is very low. Okay, so therefore there is a need for modulation. You can't just send low frequency signals easily because you need very large antennas. So this message must somehow be carried on a higher frequency wave. Piggyback right ki taraf, it somehow needs to be carried on a higher frequency wave. Effective power radiated. Okay, so again, a theoretical, you don't need to know where this comes from, but a theoretical study, deeper study shows that the power radiated, one of you saying, why can't the size of the antenna be less than lambda by 4? So this again, these are empirical values. So the thing is, your wavelength is big, right? So if your wavelength is big, for a significant signal, your amplitude also needs to be big. For the signal to have sufficient strength, your amplitude should in a way look proportional to the wavelength. All right, so I'm giving a very, I'm not telling you where the by 4 comes from. That's a deeper empirical study. We're seeing कि अच्छा ये value से बड़ा होगा तो अच्छा है. So that comes with a lot of experimentation. But the basic idea is, तुम अगर wavelength तुम बड़ा रखोगे तो corresponding amplitude भी बड़ा होना चाहिए. Otherwise, it's going to just be a very flat wave. That's considered an insignificant disturbance. The amplitude should be in a way proportional to your wavelength for a strong, significant disturbance that is being propagated. So amplitude bada rakhoge, so amplitude फिर will in a way relate to the size of the antenna, because how are we creating these EM waves? We are oscillating charged particles, right? EM waves में सीखा होगा. We make charged particles oscillate आगे पीछे, and their oscillation changes the electric field and magnetic field in the region, and accordingly you end up creating an EM wave. All right, so larger amplitudes would require larger distances over which that particle can oscillate, so bigger antennas. Okay, good. Now the effective power radiated depends on, again, you don't need to know where this comes from. You have not fully traced where this comes from, but this is the formula written in the NCERT कि the power radiated depends on L by lambda का whole square. तो बड़ा L ज़्यादा मतलब antenna length, basically what I was just saying, a bigger antenna length will ensure more power because bigger antenna length ensures bigger amplitudes, right? So in a way L by lambda square अगर बड़ा रखोगे, we are ensuring कि amplitude is to wavelength का ratio बड़ा है, and then that's a more significant wave. Amplitude to wavelength का ratio छोटा रखोगे तो it will be a very chapta weak disturbance. Okay? It's as good as it's long there. So power radiated depends on L by lambda का whole square. This is why the antenna length had to be comparable to lambda. What I was mentioning earlier, antenna length lambda by 4 के आसपास at least होना चाहिए. So this is why you see that it has to be comparable to lambda. Lambda बड़ा रखोगे, L छोटा रखोगे, power radiated will be very small. Now, for the signal to not die out, high power radiations are required. High power radiations के लिए we would need smaller lambda. तो छोटा lambda होने का जरूरत. एक तो एंटेना साइज L ज्यादा बड़ा नहीं रख सकते, वो एक प्रॉब्लम है, पर दूसरा बात है कि लैम्डा भी छोटा रखोगे तो और बेटर होगा. ठीक है. सो कीप lambda in a smaller limit, we will find the need to use higher frequency waves. So this is another reason why modulation takes place. Okay, lambda छोटा रखने के लिए. एक है एंटेना ज्यादा बड़ा नहीं हो सकता, दूसरा है पावर इफेक्टिव ज्यादा पावर रेडिएट करने के लिए so that it does not die out, लैम्डा छोटा रखना है. Okay, remember that formula that's written, P is proportional to L by lambda square. It's mentioned in the NCERT, so just remember it. The last thing is mix up of signals. Each signal has its own band of frequencies. If all signals were to operate on the same frequency, the bandwidth, they would all get mixed up, right? So this is why the ITU allocates, to avoid that mix up of signals, they allocate different bandwidths for different uses. Thus, there is a need to modulate the signals to operate on the allocated or the allotted frequency bandwidth. Okay? So imagine all human voices talking more or less. We are going to be in a fixed range. Human voice talking maybe 300 hertz to 900 hertz. Okay, we're going to be in that range. So radio में कुछ चल रहा है, हम phone पे बात कर रहे हैं, TV में कोई बात कर रहा है. The audio signals, original audio signals are all in the same range. But now the bandwidth in which the radio wave is sent, they're all different. So there is a need to superpose our audio signal on top of different frequencies. All right. So to send out signals of desired frequencies that have been allocated to us, there we have to rely on modulation. Okay. All right. Last, we are reaching the end. So there are 3 types of modulation. Specifically, your syllabus has asked you to look at amplitude modulation in more detail and a little bit of frequency modulation. Okay. So amplitude modulation में क्या होता है? The amplitude of the carrier is varied in accordance with information from the signal. How is pressure waves going to affect light waves? ये statement कहाँ से आ रहा है, क्यों आ रहा है? How is pressure waves going to affect light waves? What is the context for that doubt? Pressure waves, I believe sound is a pressure wave. नहीं, अच्छा, I said sound will interfere with other frequency. नहीं, that's not what I meant. So I'm saying कि हम तो sound मान लो 300 से 900 हर्ट्ज की रेंज में हम बात कर रहे हैं. Now that is gonna, it's not, ये हम बाहर नहीं भेजेंगे, ये हम convert करेंगे. This will be converted into corresponding voltage signal. Okay, and the direct conversion would also basically have the same frequency. Okay, now that voltage signal will again, it could be then converted into a So हाँ तो but we are not ready to send out a radio wave in that frequency range, because if we all send out radio waves in that frequency range, then it will get mixed up. Light would get mixed up. Sabka TV signal, radio signal, if we are all operating in the frequency in which we are talking, if radio waves are sent that way, they will superpose and get mixed up, and they'll be difficult to separate. This is why TV operates in different ranges and so on and so forth. Hence the need for modulation. Okay. Now, to fit into that frequency range, we need to जितना अलाउड है उसी रेंज में रहने के लिए मॉड्यूलेट करके वो रेंज में रेडियो वेव भेजना पड़ता है. अब एम्पलीट्यूड मॉड्यूलेशन देखो क्या है. So in this, the amplitude of the carrier is varied in accordance with information from the signal. So what does this mean? तो देखो पहले तो message is my desired signal. Okay, so get used to this symbol. M with respect to time is am sine omega mt. So this is a representation of my message signal. This is my message signal which is being propagated. Okay, of course omega t minus kx or minus kx डाल के वो wave signal दिखेगा. This is just me showing how it looks at one position of time. So SHM वाला part दिखा रहा हूँ. Otherwise you can put a minus kx and it will look the same, look like a wave. But this is ultimately my message signal that I'm sending out. On top of that, this is my carrier wave. Okay, so this message signal wala frequency is going to be low. I can't send this. I need to maybe increase the frequency and fit it into my allocated bandwidth. So what I'll do is I will somehow superpose it on this carrier. The carrier I'm representing with C. उसका wave is AC sin omega CT. अब कैसे सुपरपोज करेंगे? तो AM में क्या होता है, कैरियर का एम्पलीट्यूड को हम मैसेज सिग्नल के हिसाब से वेरी करेंगे. तो कैरियर का जो एम्पलीट्यूड AC होना चाहिए था, हम उसको AC प्लस म्यू, I've missed the term, I'll just add that term, AC plus, no, I think that's fair enough, I'm sorry, AC plus AM sin omega MT. ठीक है, तो वो जो कैरियर वेव का जो एम्पलीट्यूड है उसके ऊपर हम ये मैसेज वेव का एम्पलीट्यूड डाल रहे हैं. कैरियर वेव के एम्पलीट्यूड के ऊपर मैसेज वेव का एम्पलीट्यूड डाल रहे हैं. तो अब जो सिग्नल बाहर जाएगा, दैट सिग्नल का एम्पलीट्यूड इज नाउ गोइंग टू वेरी इन अकॉर्डेंस विथ माय मैसेज. और जब रिसीवर इस सिग्नल को रिसीव करेगा, वो ये वेरिंग एम्पलीट्यूड से AC सब्ट्रैक्ट करके मैसेज सिग्नल रिट्रीव करेगा. ये fascinating idea, but this is how AM modulation works. Now we're just going to simplify a certain simplify this equation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take AC outside. So if I take AC outside, I will have 1 plus AM by AC over here, and AM by AC is represented by the symbol mu and is called as the modulating index. Okay, it's called as the modulating index. So this equation comes AC into 1 plus mu sin omega mt into sin omega CT. If I open the brackets, I get AC sin omega CT plus AC mu sin omega m sin omega CT. अब देखो यहाँ पे this is fair enough. Okay, this is one wave जिसका frequency angular frequency omega c है. But अब ये जो चीज है, okay, this seems to be a combination of waves. And how do we figure out what waves make up this wave? Right? It's like the question, number of independent SHMs. So how many SHMs make up this? तो हम इसको sin A sin B, इस पे sin A sin B का फॉर्मूला लगाएंगे. sin A sin B का फॉर्मूला होता है half cos A minus B minus cos A plus B. Right? So I'm going to replace this with half cos A minus B. cos में इनपुट नेगेटिव लिया तो भी चलेगा, बट फॉर रिप्रेजेंटेशन से बड़ा ओमेगा माइनस छोटा ओमेगा लिख रहा हूँ. ठीक है, सो ओमेगा सी माइनस ओमेगा एम टी एंड माइनस हाफ कॉस ओमेगा सी प्लस ओमेगा एम टी. तो नाउ एट दिस स्टेज ये जो हम एम्पलीट्यूड मॉड्यूलेट करके जो हम सिग्नल भेज रहे हैं, जो फाइनली जो सिग्नल भेजा जा रहा है, that seems to be a combination of 3 different waves. So the ultimate signal that we are sending, ये modulate करके जो signal जा रहा है, that has 3 different parts. Okay, so it's actually 3 distinct frequencies that are going out. Omega C angular frequency, omega C plus omega M angular frequency, and omega C minus omega M angular frequency. ये 3 distinct angular frequencies बाहर जा रहा है. अब इसमें bear in mind omega M छोटा होगा, our message signal का frequency is typically lower than our carrier wave frequencies, which are of the order of gigahertz, terahertz, etc. Megahertz, gigahertz, etc. Okay? And omega C is going to be higher. As for the amplitude, ये जो modulating index है, this modulating index should always be less than 1. Okay, this modulating index should always be less than 1, because AM should always be lesser than AC. AM should always be lesser than AC. Q, else the signal will get distorted या over modulated. Because क्या हो जाएगा, if AM is bigger than AC ना, तो ये जो एम्पलीट्यूड है वो ही खुद एक पॉइंट के बाद नेगेटिव हो जाएगा, which will in a way affect the frequency or affect the perception of the signal, because that will then वो जब zero hit कर रहा है, it will seem like the frequency has increased. So it's basically going to distort the signal. It will not enable a proper interpretation of the signal. So keep it simple. Basically, this term should not become 0. This term should not become lesser than 0. Okay? So for it to never become lesser than 0, AM should be lesser than AC. So we'll pick a carrier. We'll make the amplitude of a carrier wave sufficiently big so that that term never becomes 0. Okay? If it does, Disha, I'll come to it. So if it, but before that, if it does, if AM is greater than AC, the signal, else the signal will, what will happen in that case? It will get distorted, or that is set. In that case, we say the signal is it's over modulated. Okay, so if mu is greater than 1, it will be, we say it's over modulated, and the signal in that case is going to be distorted. Now, one of you is asking, sir, how can we just add our message signal on top of AC? So in 2 minutes, maybe I think we'll just finish this page. So just imagine this. Let me maybe explain this diagram, and then I'll continue this in the next class and finish it off. And if there's anything else to wrap up in the other track, I'll wrap that up on Thursday. But just यहाँ पे मान लो कि ये मेरा कैरियर वेव था, ठीक है, और ये मेरा मैसेज सिग्नल है, और मेरा मैसेज सिग्नल तुम्हें साफ साफ दिख रहा है लोअर फ्रीक्वेंसी का है, तो बड़ा वेवलेंथ दिख रहा है इसमें. ओके, और मैसेज सिग्नल का एम्पलीट्यूड छोटा है कैरियर वेव के एम्पलीट्यूड से. नाउ डू यू अग्री कि दिस इज समथिंग आई एम प्रोड्यूसिंग, राइट? सो दिस आई हैव फुल कंट्रोल ओवर दिस एम्पलीट्यूड. तो हम क्या करेंगे, ये जैसा वेरी कर रहा है ना, इसका ये जैसा वेरी कर रहा है, वी हैव दैट वोल्टेज फंक्शन, वही वोल्टेज फंक्शन से इसका एम्पलीट्यूड हम वेरी करेंगे. That's the idea. So this amplitude, which was in our control, we could keep it as big or as small as we want, right? That amplitude is now made to vary in accordance with this. We have precise, if you're saying how it's done, we have precise control over the amplitude of any wave we produce. We can design waveforms according to our convenience and intentionally send out those radio signals. Okay, we have that level of technology and control. So iska amplitude is varied based on this incoming wave. So that वो mathematical function ही हम adjust कर देंगे. AC के जगह amplitude AC रखने के जगह AC plus ये wave का function. ये wave sinusoidally vary कर रहा है with time. So because वो sinusoidally vary कर रहा है with time, the message that goes out is of the same frequency as the carrier. The signal that goes out has the same frequency as the carrier, but uska amplitude is AC plus this wave. So can you see how when this wave ka frequency increases to a maximum, यहाँ पे overall amplitude AC से AC plus AM हो रहा है, and then this decreases back to 0 and then goes to minimum of minus AM. So accordingly ये wave का amplitude AC minus AM हो रहा है. So as this message signal rises and falls, I am going to make the amplitude of my final signal also rise and fall accordingly. जब receiver ये receive करेगा, वो ये amplitude detect करेगा और वो यहाँ से AC हटा देगा, और जो AC हटाने के बाद जो remaining ups and downs रहता है, that is our message. Did you get the idea? It's like imagine you know somebody is a teacher son is giving an exam, and the teacher wants to help her son. She wants to reveal answers of the exam to her son. Okay, so they have a code between them. The teacher is going to just announce something in class, but she will vary the loudness of her voice based on what the answers should be. So if it's A, she'll talk softly. If it's B, she'll talk a little louder. C, even louder. D, a lot louder. So based on the loudness of her volume, information is being passed. So the son is understanding, अच्छा इस amplitude का मतलब, अच्छा ये फिलहाल अब first line उसने धीरे बोला तो अच्छा आंसर A है, second line उसने जोर से बोला तो इसका आंसर B है. So the son is decoding with that loudness. He is decoding the answers for each question. वैसे ही यहाँ पे scene है, with the amplitude of the signal, we are going to decode what message is transmitted, because the amplitude carries the message. Like in her case also, the loudness carried the message, carried the answers. Okay, got it? Cool, guys. I'll have to quickly end. I have another class starting right away. We'll meet again on Thursday. Bye-bye.